This is RadioFire.com. Yours truly, Diamond K, in here as always. The DiamondKShow.com, RadioFire.com. We have a jam-packed show for you today. I'm glad that you're here, and we're going to get into the program right after this. Welcome back to the program. Your man Diamond K in here. Radio on Fire talks to America through digital news broadcast and social media content. We are a rising multimedia platform generating over 350,000 listeners and viewers per month through our audio and video streams. From politics, breaking news, celebrity info, sports talk, pop culture, and more, Radio on Fire keeps our audience covered. So, like I said, happy Labor Day and all of that. I remember when Labor Day really meant that the fall was here. You know what I mean? I was talking to a bunch of people about this back in the day. When Labor Day hit, you needed a jacket outside because the fall was here. And, of course, times are different. Weather is just different, global warming, what have you. So it's really hard to get into this mindset of it being Labor Day. And when it still feels like summer for the most part. Where did summer go? Summer is gone. Okay. Before you know it, the coats and jackets will officially be out. So on the program today, we're going to talk about President Trump taking shots at Baltimore once again. No surprise there. He's gonna take some shots. He's trying to put his fingers on the scale in Baltimore. We're going to talk about that, as well as this feud that has been brewing between rapper Cardi B and political commentator. She is a conservative commentator named Candace Owens. So they've been having some back and forth about politics. The story on RadioOnFire.com is in the politics section, and it's rare, it's weird to have Cardi B conversation in the politics section of the site, but you can check that out there, Radio on Fire. But we're going to talk about Cardi B versus Candace Owens today also, and later in the program we're going to be joined by rapper Yella Jesus, and I know that's the whole thing right there. So we're going to talk to Yella Jesus, the rapper, later on in the program. But first, I want to talk about the president, and the president is obsessed with Baltimore, right? President is obsessed with Baltimore. Why? Is he obsessed with Baltimore because that's where I was born? I doubt it. I doubt it very serious. But President Trump, again, is targeting Baltimore in a series of tweets. He seems to always want to focus on the former Charm City. They still call it Charm City in Baltimore. But he wants to focus on Baltimore for some reason. And you want to know why. Why is he focused on Baltimore? Why does he have the desire to tweet about and talk about Baltimore? We're going to do that. So, as I said, on RadioOnFire.com, you can check out this article, and we're going to bring that up here. So, the president, as I said, targeting Baltimore in a series of tweets. And what is he saying? So this is a time the tweets focused on political endorsements and campaign rhetoric. That kind of stuff is going to be coming at you. We have the seat that was formerly held by Elijah Cummings is up. It's up. It is being contested now. Right now, the 7th district is currently held by Kwesi Mfume. And he is waiting off a challenge from Republican Kimberly Classic. She is running, trying to unseat Kwesi and Fume. And Trump has been helping her. So she did this video that has since gone viral. And in the video, she talks about Baltimore and she walks around in this red dress and some heels. And she tries to paint the picture that is, Baltimore is like many cities. It has seen better days. It's not the best that it could be, right? And she claims that she wants to take it over. She wants to be able to help out. She is not from Baltimore, but that doesn't mean she can't help, I guess. And so the president has been helping, doing his best to help Kimberly unseat Kwesi and Fume. Kwesi won the seat after a special election back in April, and this following the death of Kwesi and Fume. I'm sorry, the death of goodness gracious, the death of Elijah Cummings. Okay, and so over the weekend, yesterday to be exact, the president said this. He said, "Be smart, Baltimore. You have been ripped off for years by the Democrats and gotten nothing but poverty and crime. It will only get worse unless you elect Kimberly Classic to Congress. She brings with her the power and economic strength of the Republican Party. She works so hard." All right, so that is one of the things that he said. Another thing along the same lines, he says that Baltimore will turn around and I will help. Crime will go way down. Money and jobs will pour in. Life will be much better because Kimberly really cares. The Dems have had 100 years and they gave you nothing but heartache. Baltimore is the worst in the nation. Baltimore is the worst in the nation. Kwesi and Fume did release a statement yesterday saying that Donald Trump and my opponent are two of a kind. They love each other, but more importantly, they deserve each other. Mr. Trump will soon find out that he can't tell the people of Baltimore City, Baltimore County, or Howard County how to vote or who to vote for. Instead of Baltimore bashing, how about showing a little leadership in the middle of a pandemic, Mr. President? Now tweet that. Kwesi and Fume said. So that was interesting. Interesting back and forth about that. So the president, as I said, very fixated on Baltimore. He would love to have the seat formerly held by Elijah Cummings with an R beside it. Kimberly Classic she's what I call a shock Republican, right? Or shock politician. She famously showed up at outside of Elijah Cummings' house with a camera crew, outside of the former mayor of Baltimore, Catherine Pugh, outside of her house with camera crew, and I believe it was 98 Rock. Is that the station that it was? One station that just wanted to wow out some politicians, and for the most part, we hear talk. Crime's going to go down. You're going to do this. But what are you really going to do? Right? I like to sit down and talk with her. I like to hear some plans. We hear a lot of talk. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. But don't get confused with bad or dishonest politicians. That is not something that is a party thing. So in many cities, in your city, you may have had politicians, Democrats or Republicans or independents, that have done illegal activity, right? That is not an act that is strictly Republican or Democrat. Okay, so don't let these politicians, whatever letter they have behind their name, don't let them fool you into thinking that, if you go with the Democrat, then they're going to do this, and they go with the Republican, and then they're going to do that. Everybody's is individual based. However, there are some very important things. The ideals of the individual is important. And generally speaking, one of my main issues with the Republican Party from an ideal standpoint. So I want you to look at individuals, right? But I also want you to look at the ideology of the organization as well. Now, some people, let's look at President Trump, for instance. President Trump has been a Democrat and he's been a Republican, right? He has no real ideals. He would have tried to run as a Democrat if he could have, because that's who he was giving money to. But it made more sense and he didn't see a way in because Hillary was the chosen one. So he saw the way in as being on the Republican side. So he did that. But he's been a Republican for about 15 minutes. So the fact that he's gone in and made a big impact on the Republican Party, that's fine and nice. But let's understand this. He was not a Republican. His ideals are not conservative in the sense of the word. But what he does do is this, and this is something is one of my main issues with the Republican Party politics as it stands. It is rooted in whataboutisms. What do I mean by that? Whataboutisms. You say something directly, and then what about this? What about that? And they don't answer what you actually said. They don't answer the actual question. It's whataboutisms. It's really juvenile when you think about it. They avoid answering questions. Let me explain. If I say to a Republican, Americans are protesting because they are angry about police killing unarmed black people, the average Republican response is going to be, well, that doesn't happen that often. You should be angry about violence in your community, right? Whataboutism. That's what whataboutism is. Notice how they did not address what we were talking about. They wanted to sidetrack, deflect, and bring up something else as a whataboutism. Like I said, it's juvenile when you think about it, right? Not only do Republicans, in this instance, want to minimize our anger, they want to attempt to rank how angry and what we should be angry about and never address the source of the anger. The president frequently talks about what he calls violence and anarchy, right? Never addresses the reason for the outrage. The reasons that, it is so heightened, the feelings of unjust practices. He doesn't talk about any of that. You let Bill Barr, I'm really tired of these white men saying that there's not racism. How can you say that? Who are you to say what it is or what it isn't? You're not the person that is being done incorrectly, right? You're no authority on that. So, let me another example, right? Because sometimes I got to break things down even further, and I have no problem doing that. Okay, so it's juvenile, this whataboutism. It's like if you say, little Timmy, we're talking to little Timmy, right? Little Timmy, you spilled juice on the floor. I need you to clean it up, right? And Timmy's response is, well, people drop food on the floor more times than I drop juice on the floor. Why are you mad at me, right? No, but Timmy, yes, food is dropped on the floor, but we're talking about you dropping the soda on the floor, right? Yes, there is violence in every city. There's violence in every city. Most of the crime that happens to white people is done by white people. And most of the crime that happens to black people is done by black people. We know that, right? Boom. But if we're talking about specifically the issue of police killing unarmed people, Don't try to sidetrack me with some violence that happens in cities that is between two citizens. Don't try to sidetrack me. Let's talk about this activity and accountability of the police. Then we can talk about that, and that's a separate conversation, which we can have. But Republicans don't like to do that. They want to try to distract you, and that's what happens. So oftentimes you'll have these Republicans come out and speak on things that they have no business speaking on. For instance, if I say that the way that women are portrayed in music videos is not offensive to women, I don't have any authority to say that, right? I need to talk to women, right? I can't say that as a man, this is not offensive to women. I can't do it. Not in good faith, not in honesty. I can't do it, right? But Republicans consistently try to speak on things that they have no authority to speak on. They have no authority to speak on. But what they do, here's the latest Republican trick. This is the latest GOP trick. They get people who are black, they pay some black people to come out and speak on their behalf. They say, well, maybe if we get a black person to say these things, they'll be able to receive it better, right? But it's the same crap. And one of their favorite go-to people for this type of rhetoric, one of the latest ones is Candace Owens, right? Candace Owens is one of the latest that they go to when they want to try to convince you as black people that everything is all right, that it's not about racism or injustice. It's your fault, really. So Candace Owens, as I said, she is a political commentator, GOP commentator, someone, talking head, right? Like myself, somebody who thinks that they have the answers and wants to give their thoughts on it. I have no problem with that at all. No problem with that. What I do have a problem with is the fact that just like Trump, she was a Democrat. Now she's a Republican. I guess it pays better. It's more convenient for her to be that. And her and Cardi B have been having some back and forth. Of course, we know Cardi B is a popular rapper. And, you know, whether I agree with this or not, she is someone who has the attention of younger people. So she has the attention of younger people, and many times the politicians want to capitalize off of that. They want to capitalize off of the exposure that the recording artists can give them. They want to capitalize off that. And we put a microphone in the face of people sometimes who maybe should not be talking about things in depth, right? But if Cardi B saying that it's important to get out and vote motivates some other young people to get out and vote, I don't have a problem with that. Now, can Cardi B go deep on policy? No. Should she go deep on policy? No, not at all. And Cardi B is someone who is passionate about whatever she's talking about, and she wants to get her point across. Now, from a concept standpoint, sometimes I get what you're saying, Cardi. Other times she may go on the deep end because she does not know all the particulars about how things work as far as government goes, right? Now, Candace Owens is accusing Cardi B of being a tool of Joe Biden and the Democrats. But what she fails to understand, I'm talking about Candace Owens, what she fails to understand is that she's a tool of Trump and the Republicans and whoever else, her Brexit people and all, whatever. She's a tool of them, right? So both ladies are being used. Let's be clear about that. Both ladies are being used, but I guess neither one wants to acknowledge or see it. And so they went back and forth. So here, this is Candace Owens' tweet. She was over the weekend on a show, Ben Shapiro, who is another Republican commentator, and you can see him smiling very devilishly. And so Candace Owens says this in this tweet. She says, since most Black people didn't have the spine to admit that Ben Shapiro was 100% correct about Cardi B and how her music and platform contributes to the disintegration of Black culture and values. Here you go. Here's the thing. Cardi B, her music, I don't think that her music contributes to the disintegration of Black culture and Black values. Cardi B, she's the one. Everything was fine, and then Cardi B came. Now, yeah, does she do ratchet music? Yeah, she does ratchet music, definitely. Okay, but I think that focusing on the issues at hand is more important than dissing Cardi B for doing some ratchet music, right? And she's a ratchet music singer, rapper, right? True, fine, no problem. But she's an American. She can speak on politics. And yes, if she gets baited in by Candace Owens, who has more knowledge of politics than her, right? So Candace Owens thinks that Joe Biden talking to Cardi B is and I've heard others say this, Boyce Watkins and others say this, and they try to come at things from this perspective that because the politician talked to a rapper who does not have knowledge of politics, then that means that they have a disdain for Black people. And I disagree with that in premise and application. If you're trying to reach a younger demographic, and this person, whether they do ratchet music or not, and this person has a bridge to that demographic, there's nothing wrong with you reaching out to and getting people that listen to this person and say, hey, vote for me. I mean, Republicans do it with the country music singers and politicians do it when they go to the churches and all that kind of stuff. When you go to the church and those people are not normally into politics and the politician comes out and say, hey, to the congregation, hey, I'm thus and so, vote for me. I'm running in your district, right? They're coming and talking to pastor such and such and reverend this and that because they have access to the congregation. And the reverend has access to the congregation, and that's why the people are there talking to him for that very purpose, which is the same reason why they're talking to Cardi B, same reason why they would talk to country singer X or Y or Beyonce or any of the other people that they talk to, because they want to reach their base, the base of that entertainer. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that the entertainer should take that and go over the deep end with, with the conversation. Because as I said, Candace Owens and Cardi B talking about politics is not a fair fight. But the fact that Cardi and Candace Owens are being manipulated and are going back and forth with each other looks crazy. It looks crazy. So Cardi said this about this whole thing. She said that, yes, you are right. I have the #1 song and I have a huge platform and I can make millions go vote to get that man that used you. I don't want to argue with you, Candace. I really don't have the time. I honestly just feel sorry for you. This is Cardi B talking about uh, Candace Owens. They had some back and forth. Um, and Cardi talked about her sister not being able to go somewhere and being harassed by a Trump supporter. And there was some back and forth. Um, and I mean, so they kind of said this is another thing that, when Cardi's talking a little bit past her wheelhouse and maybe she didn't explain things in the best possible way. She said this is Cardi again. She says that, well, paying taxes is something that, as much as I hate, it's a reality. I will always have to pay, but I rather my tax money go to free education than police funding. Use my money on something useful. Your president she means to say uses, but uses our tax money to fund his empty campaign runs. Um, and Candace replied by saying, lastly, asking racist Joe Biden to lower your taxes in the same breath that you asked for free universal health care is about as thick as it gets. When you stick to music, you can get left alone. When you dabble in politics, you will get called out for platforming ignorance. Um, but Candace Owens platforms a lot of ignorance. Okay, a lot of ignorance, and I think that what Cardi was really trying to say is that she wants her tax money used for better public projects, and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. In essence, that's what she was trying to say. But as I said, when you talk too far out of your comfort zone, you can tend to say some things that can contradict. You can have some contradictory messages, and all in all, I think that is what it is. But both ladies throwing the word racist around. Candace Owens calling Biden a racist. Cardi B calling Trump a racist. What? It's just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But we're in election season, and the Labor Day holiday really is the jump start for the part of the election cycle that people really pay attention to. So you have people who don't normally pay attention to politics start to pay attention on the other side of Labor Day. We are 3 weeks away from debates starting. That is going to be crazy. Okay, debates are going to be crazy. Let me just say that. Now, I don't agree with everything that Candace Owens says. Hell, I don't agree with most things that Candace Owens says. Okay. But I definitely think that everybody's entitled to say what they want to say. Even if you're ignorant, Cardi B, even if you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. I want people to get involved in the conversation. And yeah, you can say some things that are not right. And then you can get checked on those things. And maybe you need to do some research and then find out some other things. But Cardi B represents a lot, unfortunately, represents a lot of Americans. And a lot of Americans that we want to, who may not know everything that's going on now, but we want them to become people who do know. And Cardi B's involvement, as weird as some of the things that Cardi B says is, I think that can encourage people to become more educated. But let's not get confused with someone who is being manipulated, Candace Owens, who is intelligent, but she's way to the right of things. And if the money pulls her another way back to the left, she'll go back to the left. All right. If the Republican thing doesn't work out for her, she will jump ship from that, just like she jumped from the left to jump to the right. She will jump right back. Okay. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. And so let's go to a couple comments. We're gonna have our guest on. I'm waiting for him to show up here, but let's go to a couple of comments here. Okay, so Tyra says that Trump acknowledges or acknowledged that we built the country. Okay, you're gonna need to be more. Give me more information. What are you talking about, Tyra? Are you saying that Trump acknowledged that? Are you trying to say that Trump has acknowledged Black people's contributions to the country? Is that what you're saying? I'm assuming that is what she is saying. So I'd like you to tell me more about what you're talking about, Tyra. Tyra also said this: Joe Biden speaking to Cardi B, no influencing our young girls to sell WAP, no buy. All right. So Joe Biden speaking to Cardi B, no influencing. Okay, so she doesn't like Joe Biden. I'm assuming she doesn't like Joe Biden speaking to Cardi B, and she doesn't like Cardi's song influencing her. So Cardi B is influencing girls to go out and sell stuff. So they weren't selling stuff before Cardi B, right? They weren't selling stuff in the 70s. They weren't selling stuff in the 60s. What are you talking about right now? Right? Okay. I don't. Okay. Explain that to me. Another comment here. DJ Cool Rod says that Candace Owens' platform is positive and informative. I think that positive may be a stretch. Cool Rod. But my thing is this, and I talk about this often. I like to talk to people that are on both sides of the political spectrum and in the middle. I like to talk to a variety of people. You can learn something from just about everybody, right? And I enjoy understanding how people who think differently than me think. I would not call Candace Owens positive. Informative, yes, it is good to see what what some people think. And I have often had conversations with people in the MAGA crowd or libertarians or independents or Democrats or Republicans. I've had conversations with all of them. And some people, let's take the MAGA crowd that just out and out. It is not a stretch to believe some of the things that has been reported that Trump has said about the military, considering what we have by way of public statements and video, right? The way that he disrespected the Gold Star family, the way that he said that he does not like people that were captured, right? The way that he called McCain a loser and said he was not a war hero because he was captured, right? Those things right there are disrespectful to military people. And then when you get the other quotes that have been unsourced as of right now because they still work there, the fact that John Kelly has not come out and said that the president did not say those things about his son should tell you that he did say those things and he's just not saying anything about it, right? Because if the president did not say those things, John Kelly would come and say, hey, look, he didn't say those things about my son. He ain't saying nothing. But the MAGA crowd is like, oh no, yes, he said that McCain was a loser, not a war hero for being captured in Vietnam and staying for 5 years when he could have come home. He's not a hero, right? The person who said that absolutely said those other things. But the MAGA crowd is so programmed to believe foolishness. And then when you turn around and you say that Candace Owens' platform is positive and informative, this is the mindset. This is that type of mindset. Candace Owens has that type of mindset. So when the homie DJ Cool Rod says that Candace Owens' platform, when he says that Candace Owens' platform is positive and informative, I'm asking him, for real? Really? Let's talk about the positivity. Where is it? Where is it? The mindset. Now, if the president came out and said, look, I didn't like McCain. I didn't like this one. I didn't like that one. I didn't like the Gold Star family. I said those things, but I would never, da 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 da. Now, responsibility is not a cornerstone of anything as it relates to this president. And that is a major problem. Responsibility, let me say it again. Responsibility is not a cornerstone of anything that Trump is built on, meaning he will take responsibility for nothing. This is not a leader that we can have. Someone who takes responsibility for nothing, nothing's ever his fault. I'm sure that all of the marriages that he screwed up when he cheated on his ex-wives, his kids' mothers, that wasn't his fault either, right? Oh, wait, we don't want to talk about that, right? I'm giving you an example. He takes responsibility for nothing. It was the women's fault that he cheated on them, according to him, right? And when this marriage doesn't work, this marriage is not going to work. When this marriage is over and he's on to the next one, that's going to be somebody else's fault as well. Just tuning in, you listen to the Diamond K Show. Of course, RadioFire.com, the Diamond K Show.com. And yes, I'm on some stuff, right? I'm on some stuff because it's getting down to the wire. He's trying to rush out a vaccine for political purposes, because the reports were the vaccine would not be ready until next year. Then it moved to the end of the year. Now it's moving to election day. Now they're talking about before election day. So Halloween time, you're supposed to have some vaccine. Do you really think that the way that this president has humiliated the FDA, the CDC, and the FBI, every other organization, we're supposed to then the post office, then we're supposed to turn around and trust these same organizations with the ballots, with the vaccine, with election security, right? He's doing all of these things in his attempt to imitate his favorite dictator, his favorite world leader, Vladimir Putin. But let me say this. Putin's a little bit more smoother than Trump. Trump is like a bull in a china shop. And we got a whole lot of dishes around here. And he's just destroying things, trampling over norms. All you Republicans and all you MAGA crowds, you have to understand this. Whether he is out in January or whether he's out 4 years from now, some of the things that you guys and gals have allowed to be just not respected in the government, this stuff is going to come back to haunt you. If you continue to let Trump do these things, there's going to be an independent or a Democrat that's going to come and try to do the same things. And then the hypocrisy is going to really show, because then you're going to try to go back on the things that you just allowed Trump to do. But that's a whole nother story. Some of this has got to stop. Now, the former Obama voters who voted for Trump, those are the ones that I'm really, really interested to see how they feel. All right. I know that the diehard MAGA people, they're happy with Trump. But what about those people that voted for President Obama twice and gave Trump a chance? How you guys and girls feeling? How do you feel about your vote? How do you feel about how Trump has handled this country in the last 4 years? Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I'm talking to the people who voted for Obama and then gave Trump a chance. How are you people feeling? Because we often hear about Trump talking about his base, right? Those people are not his base. Those people gave him a chance because maybe they didn't trust Hillary Clinton and maybe they liked the fake populism talk. And I said fake. It's fake populism because he said a lot of things. I'm going to bring back this job. I'm going to bring back factories. I'm going to do this. But he didn't really do it, right? He was just talking. And then he got in and he did something else. So those people 4 years later, how do you feel? I cannot wait to see how this thing goes. And he's uncomfortable, which is why he's trying to say, hey, elections don't work. Vote twice. All kind of stuff, right? He's saying all kind of stuff because he is concerned. He is worried, and he should be. Advertise with us. Connect your message with our engaged audience of over 350,000 listeners and viewers per month. RadioFire.com/advertise is where you go. You can follow the show on Spotify or your favorite podcast network. New shows drop daily on RadioFire.com, TheDiamondKShow.com, and you can always support the program via Cash App. That is $DJ Diamond K. And of course, your donations help us continue to do what we do here on the program. And that is to bring you independent news, progressive opinion on politics, social issues, entertainment, more. The Diamond K Show. Also, for booking or media requests, contact me at djdiamondk@gmail.com. And I was expecting to be joined by the rapper Yella Jesus, but he is not on the line. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and maybe we will have him when I return. Okay, it's been fun. I don't see him. We're going to try to get him on the program maybe tomorrow. On Wednesday, we're going to be joined by TJ Smith. And on Friday, we're going to be joined by independent candidate for mayor of Baltimore City, Bob Wallace. So until tomorrow, 7 p.m., you will listen to the Diamond K Show, RadioOnFire.com, TheDiamondKShow.com. Also on YouTube.com/DJ Diamond K. I will be back tomorrow. Until then, if you see it, then you can be it. It is all about having vision. And